Chapter 41 Apprentice Lin Gang, Reward Body Forging Formula. As Chu Yun said that he would not join the military, Lin Gang and everyone were happy, but Bai Jian was a little regretful. But in the end, I asked Chu Yun to reconsider. He will always leave a place for Chu Yun in the military. Then he seemed to be worried that Chu Yun would immediately refuse, and he disappeared in place with Tang Chuan. In an instant, leaving Chu Yun, several people looked at each other. It was not until Bai Jian disappeared completely that Lin Gang looked at Chu Yun with a smile. You can study in school for a period of time, and after you graduate, you can go to the military to have a look. This guy Bai Jian still pays more attention to talents. In addition, although the military department is dangerous, the treatment is really good. Lin Gang finally said a good word for Bai Jian. Chu Yun smiled bitterly. Principal, I just entered school. Why are you thinking about what happens after I graduate? Ha ha. The crowd laughed. Yes, this kid Chu Yun has just entered school. It is strange to say that everyone is already thinking about his graduation in the future, but then everyone thought that Chu Yun's strength had grown too fast. Everyone is accustomed to ignoring that he is a freshman, and it is understandable to have such a thought. Okay, this is the end of it. Chu Yun, as the winner this time, you can go to the logistics department to receive 10 high-level body strengthening liquids, 10 high-level nutritional medicines, and 10 talent transformation pills. By the way, since Bai Jian gave you a can of Beast Master blood, the school should also give you a pair of body forging herbs. Let you forge your body with the blood of the Beast Master, the effect will be better. Lin Gang glanced at the blood of the Beast Master in Chu Yun's hand, and said lightly. Chu Yun bowed and thanked. The principal is grand, the principal is mighty. It made the other instructors laugh for a while. And at the same time they were a little envious. Look, this is the winner in life, and the Black Iron Realm uses the blood of the Beast King Realm to forge the body. That's cool. At the end, everyone seemed to remember something. Chen Yuan, the deputy dean of the Weapon Academy, looked at Lin Gang and said, Principal, who will guide Chu Yun in the future? As soon as Chen Yuan said this, it seemed that he had asked everyone's heart, and everyone turned to look at Lin Gang. Cough cough. Hearing Chen Yuan's words, Lin Gang coughed dryly and said, Student Chu Yun, would you like to be my student? I will guide you in your studies in the future. As soon as these words came out, the instructors all had such expressions on their faces. Everyone knew that this old guy didn't want to let go of a talented student like Chu Yun. Although it is very helpless, but looking at Lin Gang's eyes is a little bad. Ignoring everyone's murderous eyes, Lin Gang looked at Chu Yun with a serious face. Chu Yun was a little surprised. The old man actually wanted to accept himself as a student. Then wouldn't he have a great master-level mentor as his backing in the future? Then his backstage is hard. But he looked at the expressions of the other teachers. Chu Yun suddenly didn't know what to say, and felt that everyone wanted to accept him as a student. But after all, I am alone. Just when Chu Yun hesitated, he suddenly saw Li Feng nodding at him. Chu Yun instantly understood, and immediately spoke. I would like to be the principal's student. Then he turned to look at the other instructors, and hurriedly said, Of course, students are also students of each mentor. If there is anything that students don't understand in the future, I hope that teachers will give me some advice. Chu Yun said it beautifully. Not only expressed that his tutor is Lin Gang, but also expressed that he is also everyone's student. Hope you teachers don't mind. Hearing this, the teachers nodded secretly, although there was some regret on their faces. But there is nothing to be done. Who says that his strength is not as good as others? If he is also a great master, he will directly pull the vice principal out and beat him. In that case, an excellent student like Chu Yun would naturally choose himself as a tutor. Haha, Chu Yun kid is right. We are too stubborn. You are indeed a student of all our tutors. If you have any questions in the future, feel free to ask us. We certainly know it all. Yes, old Chen is right. If you have any questions in the future, Chu boy, just come to us. We are not as busy as the vice principal and can teach you anytime. Several teachers are excellent people, and they figured out these things in an instant. Responded hastily. That boy would like to thank all the teachers. Sure enough, the teachers are the pillars of the national education industry and the guiding lights of the students. Selfless dedication to the motherland for a lifetime, the teachers are brilliant. Chu Yun also said whatever he wanted to say. The teachers are so excited that I can't wait to recruit 1,800 students to teach. Lin Gang was also happy to see this scene. I became more and more interested in Chu Yun. Extraordinary people are not all reckless, and they are also sophisticated. This kid Chu Yun is talking about people and talking about ghosts. You see, those teachers can be said in a sentence or two to make them flirtatious. I just felt that the Dragon Kingdom was supported by a few of them. Lin Gang didn't interrupt. Today, Chu Yun came under his door, which made him feel very good. After watching Chu Yun chat with other mentors for a long time, Lin Gang said, "It's almost all right, Chu Yun, you can ask them directly if you encounter any problems in the future. However, remember that I am your mentor?" When everyone heard this, they gritted their teeth at Lin Gang. "Listen, are you talking about people? That is to say, usually cultivate to find other people. But you have the ability in the future, and you are still my student." Chu Yun is also speechless. I just agreed. Just ruthlessly throwing me to others to teach, is this what people do? But then he thought that the other party was a great master, and Chu Yun had no idea. Lin Gang only needs to give himself a platform at a critical time. For some basic extraordinary knowledge, it is the same. To ask other teachers. Chu Yun walked out of the school's conference room in a good mood. I am still full of gains today. First, 10 high-grade body lotions that have won the school award, 10 advanced nutritional medicines, 10 talent transformation pills. In the end, he even got a can of Beast King's blood, plus the bodybuilding formula given to him by the school. These things are enough for Chu Yun to break through to the bronze level. As long as his physique is stronger, Chu Yun believes that he can quickly upgrade to the bronze level. While walking, Chu Yun thought about his future cultivation direction. First, take nutritional medicine to raise your realm to the later stage of black iron, and then use body strengthening fluid to enhance your physique. Finally, taking the talent transformation pill, let his talent get the first transformation. Finally, the blood of the Beastmaster is used together with the forging formula to enhance the physique to a limit again. In the end, it directly broke through the bronze level. In that case, his ultimate combat power is likely to directly exceed the silver level, and he is considered a strong man. With these thoughts in mind, the corners of Chu Yun's mouth twitched unconsciously. When Chu Yun just returned to the villa, the voice of the system in his mind came. Ding! The Myriad Realms tree successfully condenses the treasure fruit, Navy 6 forms. Valkyrie blessing? Please host to get it? After being stunned for a while, Chu Yun returned to his senses. Consciousness came to the Myriad boundary tree in an instant. Looking at the Myriad Realms tree, 2 light clusters formed again. Chu Yun was overjoyed. This time it's actually 2. With a thought, 2 light groups appeared in Chu Yun's hand. Chu Yun's consciousness returned. Looking at the 2 light groups in his hand, the information of the 2 light groups instantly appeared in Chu Yun's mind. 6 naval styles: shaving, iron block, paper painting, moon step, languid foot, finger gun. Wushan blessing. You will become a weapon master. As long as you hold any weapon in your hand, you can quickly understand how to use it. A master of physical skills. You can quickly learn any physical skills. Chu Yun's eyes brightened slightly. This time it was also very helpful to him. The 6th form of the Navy can improve your physical strength and enhance your physique. At the same time, Yuebu can solve the shortboard of his own speed. The blessing of the God of War enables Chu Yun to quickly learn various weapons and physical techniques. It will be very helpful for Chu Yun to use weapons in the future. Chu Yun was overjoyed and ate the 2 light balls in an instant. The cultivation method of the 6th form of the Navy instantly appeared in Chu Yun's mind. The blessing of the God of War also greatly accelerated Chu Yun's learning of the 6th naval form. When Chu Yun picked up a stick, a lot of usage skills suddenly appeared in Chu Yun's mind. All these made Chu Yun very excited. When he came to the training room, Chu Yun took an advanced nutritional medicine. Instead of using nutritional medicine to improve the realm, let the body absorb it. Then Chu Yun began to practice the 6th form of the Navy with the blessing of the Valkyrie. 6 types: shave, kick. Chu Yun stepped on the ground instantly. In an instant, Chu Yun's figure flickered and appeared 10 meters away in an instant. Then the figure flickered again, and the figure appeared on the other side again. Chu Yun's speed increased several times. With a smile, Chu Yun continued to practice the other styles. 6 types: Iron nuggets. Chu Yun's body instantly became extremely hard, and his body fell from the sky. Boom! The ground rumbled as Chu Yun smashed it. 6 forms, moon step. With a low voice, Chu Yun jumped up and jumped into the sky. Dong dong! Stepping on the void, a few steps have come to a high place, and you can toss and move. In the air, you can actually walk in the sky for a short time. 6 forms, land foot. Clang! Chu Yun kept spinning in the air, spinning his body at will, and kicking his whip leg towards the ground. A vacuum slash that was several meters long struck the ground. Boom! The smoke and dust were everywhere, and Chu Yun cut a long ditch on the ground. 6 types, finger guns. Swish! The figure is standing in the air, the arms are constantly waving, and the fingertips quickly click forward. The alloy steel block in the training room was broken by Chu Yun's fingertips. Obviously the power of the gun is not bad. The last trick, paper painting, Chu Yun couldn't use it, so he gave it up for the time being. Carefully experiencing the nourishment of the nutrient in the body to nourish the body, Chu Yun was very satisfied with the training effect of the Navy's 6th form. Just after casting it once, Chu Yun could already feel the enhancement of his physical body. As long as you keep practicing in the future, your physique will continue to improve. At that time, your battery life will be longer. There are also more attack methods used in conjunction with innate abilities. Thinking of this, Chu Yun continued to practice the 6th form of the Navy. He was sweating profusely, but he was very comfortable. It's better than ripping off those freshmen today. 3 hours later, Chu Yun was already sitting cross-legged on the ground, panting, and began to adjust his state. Soon after, Chu Yun took out the remaining 3 medium-level nutritional medicines. This is the last time I received it. In the logistics department, and I have taken 6 before. Just took another one. Chu Yun has 3 left. This time, Chu Yun hadn't picked it up yet. Looking at the 3 nutrient potions, Chu Yun decided to break through the late stage of black iron. Follow your previous plan. He raised his head and drank all the 3 nutritional medicines, and Chu Yun started to run God of War. A lot of hot air came out of his body, and a stream of energy began to flow in Chu Yun's body. 2 hours later, Chu Yun opened his eyes. It is a pity that the 3 intermediate nutritional medicines could not make him break through the late stage of black iron. It seems that more energy is needed. Tomorrow, go get this reward first and then break through. 3 intermediate nutritional potions could not satisfy Chu Yun's breakthrough in the later stage of black iron. Chu Yun decided to wait until tomorrow to get this reward in his hands before breaking through. Unable to break through the realm, Chu Yun immediately began to soak up the body lotion. The next day, Chu Yun got up early and came to the logistics department. It was still Li Feng who received Chu Yun. After a while, Li Feng looked at the stuff in Chu Yun's hands and sighed a little. I am afraid that only Chu Yun can get so many resources when he is just entering school. Chu Yun's entrance reward resources were just exhausted by him, and he was given a lot of resources at this freshman meeting. If this is made known to students who have not received any resources, they may doubt life. 10 premium body boosters are worth 2,000 credits. 10 advanced nutritional potions are worth 1,200 credits. 10 talent transformation pills are worth 3,000 credits. Plus the forging herbs the school provided for Chu Yun. All of these add up to a value of over 100 million. Oh, by the way, Chu Yun still has an A-grade alloy weapon that he hasn't chosen yet. Li Feng probably helped Chu Yun figure it out, and found that Chu Yun actually had more money than himself. Thinking about every time Chu Yun went to dinner with him, he paid for it every time. Li Feng suddenly looked at Chu Yun badly. Shouldn't it be time for you to invite me to dinner? Then what? Teacher Li, I have to go to practice now. I'll invite you to eat another day. No, let me give you a taste of my craft another day. After speaking, Chu Yun ran away with a push of resources. Dinner? How is it possible to treat guests? It is impossible to treat guests in this life. If Li Feng wants Chu Yun to treat guests, he may have to wait until his next life. Li Feng's face was dark, but then he secretly cursed. This cheapskate is too stingy. Chu Yun doesn't care about anything else, and the mentor he worships doesn't care about himself either. Allow yourself to learn from other tutors. This made Chu Yun very helpless. But there is no way. Whoever calls someone strong, Chu Yun can only make a breakthrough on his own first. Seeing other classmates' tutors, Chu Yun only felt that he had worshipped a fake teacher. Feeling useless, not even a piece of information. If you look at other teachers, they are all hands-on teaching. This made Chu Yun a little regret. Choosing the white-bearded old man. With sadness, Chu Yun returned to the villa again. Came to the training room. Chu Yun opened a high-level nutritional medicine. After drinking it in one gulp, the majestic energy began to impact Chu Yun. The energy of hurriedly running god of war was continuously refined. The refining time is longer this time. It wasn't until an hour later that Chu Yun refined a nutrient potion. This shows that the energy of the advanced nutritional medicine is several times that of the intermediate nutritional medicine. Chu Yun felt a little, and probably still needed 2 nutritional medicines to break through the late stage of black iron. Take it slow. Continue to take nutritional medicine. 2 hours later. Boom! An invisible realm barrier was broken. The energy is like a dam releasing flood water, constantly rushing to all directions. An invisible momentum was released. The hair and clothes are slightly thrown back, and a moment of peace. Open your eyes are as bright as stars. Chu Yun exhaled turbid air, only to feel refreshed. The spiritual world seems to be much brighter. Get up and go to the test machine. Punch out. Boom, drop, 4500. 8890. 10,000. 14500. 18,000. 20001. The numbers on the test machine flickered violently, and the basic physical combat power stayed at 20,000. Without hesitation, all the ultimate combat power was activated. The 3 blood-red hooks in the eyes are endlessly circulating. A purple-red lei yan was wrapped around his body, and a white circle of light appeared on his fingers. The armed color is domineering, and the finger gun in the Navy's 6th style is used by Chu Yun. Extremely violent energy flashed on Chu Yun's fingers. Point out. Boom, beep, beep, beep. 18,000. 43100. 59,000. 78,000. 81,000. As the numbers on the combat power test machine kept beating, the numbers on the combat power test machine began to slowly stop at the value of 81,000. But then Chu Yun appeared. Dumbfounded beforehand. After the numbers stop beating, the tester is still beeping. Only the sound is different. Ka ka ka, click click. Finally, in Chu Yun's heartbroken eyes, the test machine completely fell apart, turned into pieces of scrap iron and appeared in front of Chu Yun. Hey, next time, pay attention, you can't hit the test machine with such a powerful attack as the finger gun. Otherwise, I may need to change the test machine frequently in the future. After muttering to himself, Chu Yun was a little happy again. His basic combat power has broken through to 20,000, which is directly the basic combat power of the bronze early stage. However, the ultimate combat power has exceeded 81,000, directly increasing from the previous 59,000 to 81,000. From the ultimate combat power breakthrough in the middle bronze stage to the ultimate combat power in the late bronze stage. That is to say, if Chu Yun's physical fitness is up to the level, Chu Yun can be used as a late bronze stage. And Chu Yun's real realm is indeed the late stage of black iron, directly across a large realm. At this moment, the voice of the system suddenly came from my mind. The host state is sufficient to open the system personal information interface. Is it on? Chu Yun was stunned. He originally thought that the system was a myriad realm tree. It turned out that my realm was not enough before, and I couldn't open the personal information interface. Without hesitation, Chu Yun chose to open it. A virtual interface appeared in front of Chu Yun. Host, Chu Yun strength, late black iron, bronze, silver, gold, grandmaster, king realm, talents, shake fruit, destroy the world, destruction, lei yan 3 goose jade riding wheel eyes 3 colors domineering wu shen blessing combat skill, Navy 6th form combat strength, 20001/81,000. Basic combat strength / ultimate combat strength. Chu Yun's eyes are so bright, it's perfect. Then you don't need to use the test machine in the future. You can directly see your basic combat power and ultimate combat power from the system interface. Looking at the virtual meeting of the system in front of him, Chu Yun's eyes were extremely bright. With this thing, you can always know your basic information. No more testing with a tester. Chu Yun is very happy. Today is another day full of harvest. When Chu Yun's Consciousness was no longer on the system interface. The system interface disappeared again. When he moved his consciousness, the interface of the system appeared in front of him again. Nodding satisfied. The realm of watching has improved again. Chu-Yun wondered if he should go to the gravity room to practice. But after thinking about it, Chu-Yun gave up this idea. Instead, continue to strengthen your body with advanced body lotion. He remembered what Li Feng said to him. The effect of direct absorption of advanced body lotion is the same, because there is almost no residual toxicity in the advanced nutritional medicine. After numerous high-precision purification, it has reached the most perfect state. There is no accumulation of toxins in the human body, so Chu-Yun does not need to go to the gravity room to practice. The same goes for using a body lotion directly. After soaking in a high-grade body lotion again, Chu-Yun put on the new clothes that Qin Luyin's wife bought for him and left the villa. There seems to be a big class coming up today. It is a basic course that all students should attend. Chu-Yun didn't do anything special either, and came to the amphitheater ahead of time like an ordinary person. As soon as he sat down, Luo Jun hurried over. Chu God, you are here too. I thought there was a tutor who opened a small stove for you alone. Chu-Yun shook his head. No, the school still treats these things equally, and won't open the back door for you just because of your genius. Luo Jun didn't know if he heard it or not. Anyway, he nodded when Chu-Yun said anything. It made Chu-Yun feel so unfulfilled. But what Chu-Yun said is not bad, except that Chu-Yun just came in because of the high talent level. He won some awards from the school. But this kind of reward is clearly stipulated by the school, and Shen Xiong also has it. Besides, Chu-Yun did not get any preferential treatment. For example, the living conditions in the villa area were not directly given to Chu-Yun. Rather, Chu-Yun obtained it through his own challenges. And Shen Xiong still lives in the two-person dormitory because of his lack of strength. The school's assessment did not say that Chu-Yun and Shen Xiong did not need to participate. Still participating, not only that, but also being played with by the school leaders. These are all proofs of fairness and impartiality in the school. Again, geniuses are geniuses because they can get more out of the same environment. Chu-Yun got a lot of resources in the freshman assessment. The blood of the king's beast is also a thank you to Chu-Yun for rescuing Bai Jian's youngest daughter. These are all obtained by Chu-Yun himself, not directly from the school. Ah, you are talented. These are directly given to you, so that you can become a strong man. For another example, Chu-Yun has won competition from many teachers. In fact, this is based on the fact that Chu-Yun has won the approval of all the mentors through his own efforts. Otherwise, like Shen Xiong, his talent is also very good. But why was no one vying to accept him as a student? Suddenly thinking of this in his heart, Chu-Yun was still a little emotional. But it didn't say it either. After a while, an old man with gray hair walked into the classroom. Hello everyone, I'm a teacher who explains some basic knowledge for you. My name is Jian Senior. The old man wore a pair of glasses and looked very learned. Next, let's talk about talent levels, talent transformation, talent types, and talent development. Chu-Yun also began to concentrate on listening to the old man's lecture. Let's talk about the talent level first. Everyone should know this. It is generally divided into F level to SSS level from low to high. At the same time, everyone also understands that the higher the talent level, the stronger the talent. But what I'm going to talk about today is not this, but another benefit of high talent level. Everyone knows that the school logistics department can exchange talent transformation pills. What is talent transformation pill? Simple, it is a medicinal pill that can transform talent. Going back to the question we just asked, in addition to having a good talent, a high talent level can transform the talent many times. For example, an F-level talent may change once in a lifetime, or even not once. You want to transform several times, it is almost impossible. Let's use SSS level talent again. SSS level can be transformed more than once at least, and more may be transformed 8 or 9 times. So what does this indicate? It shows that the higher the talent level, the greater the chance and frequency of talent transformation. Someone raised their hand. Teacher, in the history of mankind, how many times has talent changed at most? The person who asked the question was Chu-Yun. Everyone looked at Chu-Yun curiously, and then looked at the teacher. Hehe, don't say it. There is really a record? It is said to be an SSS-level talent, and he should have transformed 9 times. But after this man's talent has been transformed 9 times, he seems to have disappeared in blue star, and no one can trace his traces. That was recorded in ancient history, and some experts speculated that that person should go to travel in the universe. Okay, any other questions? If not, we move on to the next question. The classification of talents. Generally we divide talents into strength, element, transformation, and special. The power system is easy to understand, and it is some talent that directly affects the combat power of the physical body. The element system is also easy to understand, that is, gold, wood, water, fire, soil, wind, rain, thunder and lightning, ice, light, dark, yin and yang, etc. The transformation system is that a certain part of the human body can become a certain form, not just animals, but also people can become plants and non-living things, such as trees and stones. The special department contains a lot of talents, such as mental power mutation, gravity control, extreme speed, divine movement, beast controlling, summoning, possessing, etc. So the talents are diverse. Chu-Yun nodded, roughly understanding all the talent types. Does anyone have any doubts about this question? No one asked. The question is well understood. If no one has a question, let's move on to the next question. It's a matter of talent development. If it is said that talent transformation is to enhance the realm of talent, then talent development is to let talent practice martial arts. How to develop talent? What does it take to develop talent? How to be considered successful in developing talent? These are important questions for talent development. First, we need to constantly improve the cultivation realm, only enough cultivation realm. Only then can we better control our talents and develop corresponding abilities. Second, we need the corresponding talent energy and medium to develop talent. Only when the corresponding energy factor is sufficient, talent can be better developed. At the same time, a corresponding medium is also required, so that innate abilities can be better applied. For example, the talent transformation pill is the talent energy factor, and the weapons used by extraordinary people such as alloy weapons are the talent medium, the medium that can display the talent. Third, when we can well control our own innate ability, develop our innate ability to a certain extent, and can correspond to our realm, then even if we have successfully developed our own innate energy initially, the teacher continued to teach some basic lessons. Chu-Yun listened with relish. I feel that I have benefited a lot, and this class is not in vain. In this class, Chu-Yun listened very nicely. Some simple things that he had ignored were mentioned by the teacher. Chu-Yun was suddenly stunned, with a feeling of enlightenment. Keep some important things in mind. This class is over too. Below, Shen Xiong stood up. He took a deep look at Chu-Yun, after the last failure. Shen Xiong kept a low profile a lot, and at the same time he also dragged the relationship in the family. Learned that Chu-Yun killed the bronze-level beast. He could only sigh to himself that this man was too powerful, and it was really too difficult for him to surpass him. But this also ignited Shen Xiong's inner flame, and he began to practice hard. He was accepted as a student by Chen Yuan, Deputy Dean of the Ordnance Academy. Chen Yuan has also praised Shen Xiong many times these days. Shen Xiong's performance these days is really good. Work hard, practice low-key, and your strength is also advancing by leaps and bounds. It is indeed a blessing to suffer. After the last blow, Shen Xiong has matured a lot in an instant. Here, Chu-Yun continued to think about some knowledge. There were several boys standing in the woods outside the amphitheater. Boss, I really didn't lie to you. I did see sister-in-law Qin hugging a freshman. It was posted on the campus network last time, but it was later deleted. At that time, you were on a mission, and I couldn't contact you. I didn't tell you until I could contact you. A boy with 5 or 3 thick looks looked at a handsome boy in front and said. Another boy next to him nodded. Meng Fang said it well, I saw it too. If Mrs. Qin hadn't been there at that time, the brothers would have gone up to take care of that kid for you, the boss. No, we had something to do later, so it was delayed. Now is the time to trouble this kid. It's really a cowardly dog. I don't know whether to live or die. Even the boss's woman dares to move. Meng Fang nodded, expressing his agreement with the other party's point of view. Hearing this, the handsome boy in front of him said indifferently, I heard that that person is also from Zhongchang, seems to be from the same place as Luo Yin. There is such a thing, that kid seems to have an unusual relationship with Sister Qin before. Meng Feng just wanted to continue talking, when he suddenly thought of something, and suddenly shut up. The boy in front is Chen Ji, who has always regarded Qin Luyan as his own. Hearing the two's words, his eyes turned cold. He is a genius with SS-level talent, his strength has reached the peak of bronze, and he is only one step away from breaking through to silver level. But when he heard Qin Luyan hugging another boy, he immediately gave up the task and rushed back from outside the school. He just went back to school today? No, he immediately wanted to see what that person looked like. In the meantime, take a look at what happened again. After listening to this at the moment, Chen Ji's eyes were cold. As early as the first time he saw Qin Luyan, he regarded Qin Luyan as his lifelong pursuit. It's a pity that Qin Luyan has been ignoring him. If he dared to confess, he would be immediately frozen in ice and thrown into the lake to feed the fish. After all, he is not Qin Luyan's opponent. It just so happened that Qin Luyan also went out to do the task this time, so he could let the boy retreat. But the way is certainly not too gentle. Soon after, a group of freshmen who had just finished class rushed out of the classroom. Chu Yun walked slowly at the end. Luo Jun, who was next to him, was a chatterbox, and kept talking about trivial things. Even that little girl had a crush on Chu Yun. He had to say it. This made Chu Yun very speechless. But the next moment, Chu Yun frowned slightly. Turn your head to look in one direction. With his arrogance, he sensed the source of danger. Turning around, he saw three boys. The guy in the front is pretty handsome. There are two people standing behind, one is big and three thick, and the other is skinny. This style is kind of weird. Chu Yun frowned slightly. Chen Ji over there was also slightly surprised. I actually found us. The danger perception is not bad. The length is normal. The strength is not bad. Meng Feng, are you sure you can beat him with 10 strokes? Of course I can. This kid looks thin and tender. What if he is killed by a punch? Meng Feng glanced at Chu Yun and said, then you have to pay attention. You can be maimed, but not to death. Otherwise Luo Yin will not be able to explain it. Oh, okay. Go and meet this little white face. With a big wave of Chen Ji's hand, he led the second general of the left Qinglong and the right White Tiger, and walked towards Chu Yun. This scene saw that the freshman hurriedly retreated. At first glance, it is a strong person in the senior year, and the strength is very strong. They can't be bothered. After a while, in the surprised eyes of everyone, Chen Ji and the three came to Chu Yun. Asked in a condescending tone, are you Chu Yun? Chu Yun raised his brows slightly, did not answer the other party, but said, what's the problem? Humph? My boss asked you, are you deaf? Meng Feng hurriedly shouted. This violent shout made many people notice this. They all looked at Chu Yun with some doubts. How could they provoke these people? Chu Yun frowned slightly and looked at Meng Feng deeply. It's me, what's the matter? What are the three of you doing? Chu Yun is not afraid of the three. The strongest of the three is the boy at the front, the strength of the bronze peak. The other two are mid-bronze existences. Chu Yun is ruthless, and it's not impossible to 1v3, it's just a price to pay. Besides, his master is the vice principal, and with such a hard backstage, Chu Yun can walk sideways in the Magic City Transcendent University. It's just that he doesn't want to. I heard that you and Qin Luyan have a good relationship. It just so happens that Qin Luyan is my love, and she will be mine sooner or later. So let's make an appointment to settle this matter. Chen Ji didn't go around, and directly told the root of the matter. Chu Yun was a little funny, but his eyes were cold. This guy actually covets his wife. Uncle can't bear it, aunt can't bear it either. This person, if there is a chance, Chu Yun doesn't mind making him feel unforgettable. So what? Chu Yun sneered and said, I won't take action to bully you, let Meng Feng take action against you. He is in the middle stage of bronze, and you are in the later stage of black iron. It is not bullying you? Puchi? Haha. At this point, everyone around him burst out laughing. Mid-bronze versus late black iron. You tell me to be fair, this guy is not joking. Cough cough. Are you sure this is fair? Chu Yun also held back a smile and opened his mouth. Chen Ji frowned, and seemed to think it was too much. As long as you last 10 minutes in Meng Feng's hands, you will win? Then I won't trouble you in the future. Qin Luyin's affairs will depend on his ability? Why should I promise you? What's the benefit of me winning? Do you think you can solve it without asking me for trouble? Chu Yun still felt that this person was sick, and said lightly. Chen Ji looked at Chu Yun with dark eyes. How about I bet on a purple blood pill? As soon as he said this, it immediately caused a heated discussion among the people. Purple blood pill, that is a silver level pill, worth 5,000 credits. It can make people recover from a serious injury in an instant, which is very rare. Hearing at this moment that Chen Ji was willing to use such a precious medicinal pill as a bet, everyone was extremely surprised. Boss, this is what you got after many missions? It's okay, I don't believe it will be won by him. Hearing Meng Fang's words, Chen Ji interrupted. Haha, see you in the martial arts room tomorrow. Chu Yun laughed, turned, and left the place. The eyes are green? If you actually gave me money, then I'm welcome. By the way, let this guy out first, and beat Chen Ji if you have the chance. Chu Yun walked away leisurely. The other students also left in a hurry. So Chu Yun accepted the challenge of sophomore students and quickly spread throughout the school. 18/11, 2:09 p.m. Sondor. When Chu Yun agreed to the opponent's challenge, he turned around and left the place, but his eyes flashed green light. Zigzudan is a precious medicinal pill worth 5,000 credits. It can instantly restore the combat power of a silver-level powerhouse, and the effect is very amazing. The most important thing is that the purple blood pill is very rare, and it is difficult to buy it in the Magic City Transcendent University. Since Chen Ji is willing to take the blame, then Chu Yun also stretches out the sickle and harvests it by the way. Chu Yun didn't have any worries. His current ultimate combat power has reached more than 81,000, and he has directly broken through to the late bronze stage. Against that mid-bronze Meng Fang, that's not a pinch. This is one of the reasons why he agreed to the opponent's challenge. Another most important reason is that the guy actually called himself Qin Luyin, sister-in-law. This made Chu Yun want to hammer him to death now. Without continuing to pay attention to these matters, Chu Yun quickly returned to the villa to cultivate. Don't want to waste any time. Strength is the foundation. Without strength, nothing. If he is strong enough now, he can do the task with Qin Luyin. No need to be apart for so long. Continue to use the body-strengthening liquid to forge. Chu Yun wants to strengthen the physique immediately. In the end, he directly broke through the Black Iron Peak and broke through the Bronze Realm in one go. Chu Yun left without paying too much attention. On the spot, Chen Ji's face was not very good looking. Chu Yun's performance made him very uncomfortable. There is no panic and anxiety he imagined, but there is a feeling of indifference. It made him instantly feel that his purple blood pill was a little unstable. Looking at Meng Fang, Xiao Fang, this time you must use all your strength. Even if you kill him, it doesn't matter. Anyway, if you don't keep your hands in the ring, you will be conceited. Hearing that Chen Ji changed his attention, Meng Fang also knew that something was serious. Viciousness flashed in his eyes. Don't worry, boss, it's too arrogant to see me kill this kid like this tomorrow. That's good, you go up and directly use your best punch, go in and fight him. At the same time, be careful about his talent. His talent level should be very high, and his power should not be underestimated. Chen Ji finally warned a few words. Meng Fang nodded. I know, boss. The skinny man next to him heard this and said, Boss, why don't I go? I'm stronger than Meng Fang, and I promised 3 tricks to keep that kid from getting up. No, so many people have heard it just now. Changing my mind at this time will shake my image in Luo Yin's heart. Hearing this, Meng Fang and the thin man fell silent and opened their mouths. Then nothing more? In his heart, he secretly said, Boss, you have no image in Qin Luyin's heart. Then the 3 left the place. Many students have already left, and this matter has been continuously spread in the school. This sparked heated discussions again, and some people felt that Chu Yun was a little arrogant. I have just entered the school, and I am afraid that I have not practiced the exercises yet, so I dare to accept the challenge of the other party. Some people also think that Chu Yun is crazy about money, thinking that Zigzudan is so easy to get. But at the same time, some people scolded Chen Ji's trio as shameless, for actually bullying the freshman with a high level. I feel that if such a person were placed in ancient times, he would definitely have to be sent to the palace to be castrated as a father-in-law. All kinds of discussions are flying around. And Luo Jun, a loyal fan of Chu Yun, was a little sad at this time. They knew that Chu Yun was strong, but they didn't know how strong Chu Yun was. But thinking that it's only been a few days since the school started, no matter how strong Chu Yun is, he can't be stronger than those sophomores who have been practicing for several years. Now Luo Jun is a little anxious, and directly activates Chu Yun's loyal fan group. Decided to accompany Chu Yun to die tomorrow. If Chu Yun knew about this, he might slap him. Fuck you, you are going to die. Lao Zi is there to take advantage. This incident also passed into the ears of some teachers. In the logistics department, Li Feng was still sitting and drinking tea, dozing off. When he heard someone bullying Chu Yun, he immediately stood up. Chu Yun has a good relationship with him, although he treats guests every time they eat. This also shows that the relationship between the two is iron. Now that someone is going to bully Chu Yun, Li Feng immediately quit. I am going to find that person to have a good talk about life. In the end, when he heard that Chu Yun agreed, Li Feng began to think while rubbing his chin. That kid is probably sure, otherwise, with his shrewdness, he might have come to ask for help. Let's take a look again. If you are not defeated, you may still need to make your own shots. Li Feng nodded. But thinking of what Lin Ganghe said before he left yesterday, he was very angry. What did the old guy say? Xiao Feng, I don't have much time to teach my students, you help me take care of this. Every time I think about it. Li Feng was full of anger. This old guy is not a good person, his reputation is taken by him, and he will give it to himself when he is tired. Not a man? With a snort, Li Feng decided to go see it tomorrow. On the other hand, Chu Yun sent Qin Luyan a message while taking a bath. In the end, there was no reply, and it seems that it is still in the execution of the task. The world is actually not that safe. There are fierce beasts from the outside, and alien invasions from the north. Humans are not united within themselves either. The Dragon Kingdom is considered united, but extraordinary crimes are also indispensable. After all, armed with a sharp blade, there has been no shortage of things to kill oneself since ancient times. Some people instantly acquire powerful abilities and cannot control their desires. The quality of the heart is still unable to control this powerful force. So he went down the road of crime. So extraordinary crimes still happen from time to time. At the same time, according to Chu Yun's knowledge, in addition to the threats brought by beasts, aliens, and extraordinary crimes in the Dragon Kingdom, there is also a mysterious force trying to interfere with the order and stability of the Dragon Kingdom. Want to cause a riot in the Dragon Country? This force, Long Guo called them Dark World Organization. Chapter 47. The challenge begins. Thinking about Qin Luyan's mission, many thoughts suddenly appeared in Chu Yun's mind. The world is not as simple as Chu Yun thought, and danger still exists everywhere. There are fierce beasts outside the city, and aliens in the north are trying to invade. There is not a single voice within the human race, and each country maintains a high degree of independence. Extraordinary crimes also occur frequently, and the Dark World Organization has been making troubles in the country. These are the existences that can threaten the lives of billions of people in the Dragon Kingdom. But fortunately, someone carried the sky for ordinary people. It is these extraordinary students and those military warriors. Students in Transcendent University generally choose to do tasks after their strength has risen to the bronze level. By doing tasks to hone yourself, you can also get resources for your own cultivation. No one's resources are readily available. They all need to perform tasks by themselves, get credit rewards, and then exchange their own cultivation resources. This is the correct posture for extraordinary students to cultivate. For a while, Chu Yun's thoughts drifted away. I wondered if I should do the task too. After all, his combat power has already reached the existence of the late bronze stage. Chu Yun found that the speed of cultivation these days has also slowed down. Not as fast as when I first started cultivating. Chu Yun suspects that he may be lacking in actual combat and lack of bloody baptism. His mentality is not enough to support him to have a stronger combat power. After thinking about it, it seems that it really needs to be tempered. Always stay in a safe haven, and sooner or later genius will be obsolete. Extraordinary people should forge ahead and challenge themselves constantly. There seems to be a decision in my heart. Chu Yun stood up and secretly encouraged himself, after accepting the challenge this time. It's time to do the task yourself. Think it's still a little exciting? Silent all night? The next morning, Chu Yun and Lu Feng walked to the cafeteria. Recently, Chu Yun likes to have breakfast with Lu Feng. Cough cough. The main thing is to treat others to heaven. Early incense. Li Feng looked at Chu Yun with a strange expression. You kid didn't go to prepare for the challenge, but you asked me to have breakfast. Is it too much pressure? The teacher knows it too. Chu Yun asked with a surprised look on his face. Nonsense, the whole school is making a lot of noise, don't you know? Speaking of which, why did you take on a mid-bronze challenge? Li Feng looked at Chu Yun with contempt. No way, they gave too much. Huh? What gives too much? Teacher, don't you know everything? In order for me to accept the challenge, Chen Ji took out the purple blood pill as a bet. As long as I stick to 10 moves in Men Feng's hands, then the purple blood pill is mine. Anyway, idle is idle, just to move muscles and bones. I've been a little slack lately. When Chu Yun heard that Li Feng didn't know the bet, he immediately told him the cause and effect. Li Feng raised his brows slightly and said with a smile, you should be careful, don't overturn the car, that's a joke. Teacher, can you say something nice? As soon as you say this, what if I really lose? So in order to make up for the hurt I have suffered in my heart, this meal is still yours too. Please? Chu Yun is using the chicken to lay the eggs, and such shameless words will come with his mouth open. This time, Li Feng's old waist was almost broken. What are you still a person? In order to say such words earlier, Li Feng, has a long experience. The two had a delicious breakfast. I walked slowly to the Yanwu room, and enjoyed the scenery of the school along the way. Finally, after half an hour of wandering, the two finally came to the martial arts room. At this time, a lot of people have come to the martial arts room. There are students and teachers. Everyone seems to have been waiting here for a long time. Seeing the two of them come slowly, I almost died of anger. Those of them had come a long time ago. As a result, the protagonist came only half a day ago. This made the audience look at Chu Yun a little dangerous. In the ring, Meng Feng was also angry. This guy is so slow. It made him very embarrassed. If I had known, he would be slow too. Chu Yun, are you a little slow, or are you afraid to accept the challenge? Chen Ji looked at Chu Yun dangerously. Aren't you blind? Didn't you see that the time hasn't come yet? What nonsense shouting? Chu Yun was not polite at all, pointing to the high-altitude wall clock and replied. Others looked at the wall clock and found that the time had indeed not come. This made Chen Ji's face a bit ugly. Can we start now? Pressing his anger, Chen Ji's voice was low. Give the purple blood pill to the referee first, otherwise the challenge will be void. Taking a deep breath, Chen Ji was going to be mad at Chu Yun. Gritting his teeth, he handed the purple blood pill to a student council judge. Can we start now? Haha, yes, yes. After speaking, Chu Yun turned around and entered the ring. Behind him, Li Feng nodded to him, be careful, if you don't do it, you will admit defeat. Chu Yun waved his hand back without answering Li Feng. Admit defeat? How could it be possible to admit defeat? He's going to blast this guy today? Finally, Chu Yun entered the ring with Chen Ji's gnashing expression. This caused the audience to be amazed. Chu Yun actually really wants to accept the challenge. Isn't he too big? Especially some freshmen, they all know that Chu Yun's strength is very strong. Otherwise, it is impossible to suppress the new team of 100 people alone. But they are all freshmen. And their strength is not strong. But this time is different. The senior students are in the middle stage of bronze. The power disparity between the two is too great. At the stage of the Black Iron Realm, the combat power of an ordinary person is generally between 1,000 and 10,000. Those with powerful talents may break the limit of 10,000. But once it breaks through to the bronze level, it will be different. Each increase in combat power is calculated by 10,000. When he first entered the bronze realm, he had 10,000 combat power. But after breaking through to the middle stage of bronze, the combat power may increase to between 40,000 and 70,000. Compared with the Black Iron Realm, the gap is still very large. So everyone was a little worried about Chu Yun. Chu Yun, as the rookie king of this session, is their signature of this session. If they were defeated shortly after entering school, it would make them faceless as freshmen. It's like being beaten by a classmate is bearable, but being beaten by other classmates is a bit unacceptable. Below, Shen Xiang is also looking at Chu Yun. There was an inexplicable look in his eyes. To be honest, He didn't want Chu Yun to be defeated. He has always regarded Chu Yun as a target. If Chu Yun is defeated here, he may lose his direction and motivation. Lan Yi and several others were also present, all looking at Chu Yun worriedly. Especially Lan Yi. The last time I saw Chu Yun, there was a brief absence of attention. After Lan Yi went back, Chu Yun's white clothes wafting in the wind often appeared in his mind. A picture of a gentle smile appeared on his handsome face. This made Lan Yi blush for a moment from time to time. So at this time Lan Yi is more worried about Chu Yun than others. Chu Yun did not care about the emotions of the people below. Coming to the ring, are you sure that I will win as long as I walk through 10 moves in your hands? Meng Fang clasped his arms and said in an arrogant voice, naturally, as long as you can keep 10 moves undefeated under my heavy punch, then you will win. Okay, let's start. Chu Yun got an accurate recovery, looked at the referee and nodded. The referee is a beautiful senior girl from the student council, with a good figure. Her name is Li Ryu. Li Ryu understood what Chu Yun meant. As long as there were more than 10 moves, then Chu Yun would win. She didn't delay, and spoke immediately. At the beginning of the game, no one is allowed to interfere with the game, otherwise the student union court will go to hell. After speaking, he turned around and came to a high platform. As soon as Li Ryu's words came out, Chu Yun had already moved. Moon step cast. The figure was raised, and in the blink of an eye, he came to Meng Fang. The figure swirled in the air, and the whip leg kicked straight in the fierce direction. Deo vacuum slash attacked Meng Fang's head. Chu Yun's languid foot was used by Chu Yun superbly. These days, Chu Yun has not been idle either. With the blessing of the god of war, he has become very proficient in practicing the 6 forms of the navy. Roar! Meng Fang roared, his arms swelled, and the rungs were in front of his head. Meng Fang did not expect Chu Yun's speed to be so fast. In the blink of an eye, he stepped on the void and came to the top of his head. He also knew that his speed was not an advantage, and he was overjoyed when he saw that Chu Yun was actually close. The blood vessels on both arms instantly became enormous, and both fists blocked Chu Yun's feet. The body swayed slightly, and took a few steps back. Overjoyed, but also shocked Chu Yun's strength. The attack strength is almost catching up with the combat strength of the bronze early stage. But he didn't care. His arm began to condense energy, and a punch with terrifying power hit Chu Yun, who had just fallen to the ground. Chu Yun felt a hint of danger as the fists spread. Seeing and hearing domineering turned on, constantly predicting the opponent's moves. The armed color domineering is already fully operational, and the moon step is displayed. The figure disappeared in place. When Meng Fang punched, Chu Yun had already come to the other side of the ring. This made Meng Fang frown. He punched with confidence, but Chu Yun managed to dodge it so easily. This made him feel bad. Chu Yun's reaction speed is too fast, if he keeps hitting him. Isn't that Chu Yun's victory? The people below were also surprised by Chu Yun's speed. The freshmen were excited, as long as Chu Yun kept dodging 10 moves. Then Chu Yun is sure to win. Li Fang nodded slightly, surprised at Chu Yun's speed. I can also see the moves he uses. It seems to be very subtle. It's not like the physical arts in the Magic City Extraordinary University, as if it was created by Chu Yun himself. It fits Chu Yun very well. This made Li Fang a little surprised, thinking about waiting until Chu Yun stepped down and tortured him. Chen Ji over there had an ugly face. If Chu Yun kept avoiding him, his purple blood pill will change hands. So, Chen Ji started yelling, Chu Yun, do you just dare to run away? If it's a man, fight it head on. Otherwise, even if you win, I will trouble you. SHH. As soon as Chen Ji's words came out, everyone present was full of contempt and sneer. Chen Ji is also embarrassed to say such words. Li Fang also looked at Chen Ji dangerously. This kid has itchy skin recently. This made Chen Ji's hair stand on end, and he closed his mouth with a look of resentment. Chapter 49, One Punch Suppresses Meng Fang and obtains purple blood pill. Chen Ji was so frightened by Li Fang that he closed his mouth. But the fierce side on the high platform seems to have found a breakthrough. Immediately shouted, Chu Yun, aren't you very powerful, and you are also capable of fighting me head on? Don't hide like a mouse. In this case, you are not worthy of Qin Luyan. Qin Luyan will be my eldest brother's woman. Sooner or later, if you irritate people, Meng Fang will come as soon as you open your mouth. This made Chen Ji in the audience applaud secretly, saying it well. For this reason, he didn't believe that Chu Yun could hold back. Sure enough, the next moment, Chu Yun's figure flashed in front of Meng Fang again. Fingers turned into guns, constantly pointing in the fierce direction. Meng Fang was overjoyed that Chu Yun was so easily provoked. Chu Yun sneered, disdainful. He was just using the Naval 6 style combat skills just now. Experiment with recent results? Unexpectedly, everyone thought he was afraid of Meng Fang's attack. Chu Yun is too lazy to explain, so just think so. You will be pleasantly surprised. The finger gun kept pointing out. Swish! The air was directly ignited, and instantly hit Meng Fang's arm. Meng Fang was taken aback, his arm was dripping with blood from Chu Yun's point. In some places, the wound was deep enough to see the bone. With a scream, Meng Fang directly displayed his talent this time. The arm swelled again, like the arm of a giant ape appearing instantly. The arm that was punctured by Chu Yun recovered as before, and the giant fist hit Chu Yun. Across the sky, Chu Yun instantly retreated, and he felt that that move had at least 70,000 combat power. If it is hard connected, it will consume a lot of money. The figure flickered on the high platform, but Chu Yun underestimated Meng Fang's talent. This time, it was a punch that locked Chu Yun firmly, leaving Chu Yun nowhere to escape. The purpose is to make Chu Yun hard to pick up. Chu Yun snorted coldly, feeling that the experiment was almost done. Since the opponent has opened up, he will definitely not be able to beat the opponent with his basic combat power alone. So, Chu Yun was ready to break out, and was too lazy to continue playing with Meng Fang. Watching the punch coming, the purple-red Lei Yan first appeared on his body, and 3 blood-red hooks slowly flowed in his eyes. A white halo begins to appear on the fist. Seeing and hearing domineering blessing. Armed color domineering blessing. Valkyrie blessing? In the end, the Overlord's domineering directly unfolded in full swing. At this moment, Chu Yun's combat power was fully activated, and all his innate abilities were working. The overwhelming momentum pressed directly to the fierce side. Meng Fang, who was violent just now, was stunned for a moment. It seems to be deterred by the coercion of a king. But in an instant, Meng Fang broke free. The giant fist still locked Chu Yun firmly and continued to press down. At this moment, everyone below was sweating for Chu Yun. After all, Meng Fang was a strong man in the middle stage of bronze. Chu Yun is a little dangerous. But the next moment, something surprising happened to everyone. Chu Yun actually raised his fist in the same way, as if he was going to confront Meng Fang head-on. Meng Fang smiled proudly. He felt that Chu Yun was courting death. His combat power is already as high as 67,000. He is a guy in the late stage of Black Iron, and his combat power is in the early 10,000s at most. At this time, he actually dared to confront himself. This is really courting death. But it's okay, let's use this punch to end the game completely. There was no turbulence in Chu Yun's eyes, he could hit 10 such offenses. The palm is raised, the 5 fingers are slightly curved, and the fingertips are in the shape of a flower. The arm was pulled back, as if the entire space was pulled down. The palms are completely clenched into fists. It was as if the world was clenched in fists. Shen Xiang below looked at this familiar gesture and raised his brows slightly. The 4 of them were defeated by this trick last time. Seeing Chu Yun use it at this time, even under the ring, it is still full of sense of crisis. It's too late to say, Chu Yun delivered a punch without any hesitation. In the eyes of everyone's nervousness, 2 fists, one big and one small, collided. Boom, boom, the loud noise was deafening, and the place was filled with smoke and dust. A terrifying shockwave spread from the center of the battle like a concentric circle. Chu Yun was dressed in white and had his hair thrown back slightly, but Meng Fang flew out backwards. The whole arm was completely blown, there was blood in his mouth, and an incredible look appeared in his eyes. In the shocked eyes of everyone below, Meng Fang flew out. On the other hand, Chu Yun didn't move, and seemed to lean back slightly on his clothes and hair. At this time, Chu Yun did not delay, and performed the moon step. In the blink of an eye, the figure caught up with Meng Fang, who was still flying backwards. This time, I didn't use any innate abilities. All are basic physical combat power, with double fists rotating. A quick hammer blow to the belly of the savage side. Boom! Countless punches were thrown in the blink of an eye. After a while, the last punch fell. Boom! Meng Feng had already fallen into the ground, and even the ring made of alloy was smashed by Chu Yun. Meng Feng had already fainted, and his body was still stuck in a deep pit. Whoosh! He exhaled heavily. Chu Yun jumped out of the deep pit. Look at the surprised eyes below. Then he glanced at Chen Ji, who was silent. After smiling, he finally looked at Li Ru. Sister, is it my victory? Ah, this. Li Ru stammered a little, but she still suppressed the shock in her heart. Forget it, you really won this time. Then senior, can you give me the purple blood pill? Forward. Li Ru rolled her eyes beautifully. Guy, is this the time to say this? In the end, he was helpless and handed the bottle containing the purple blood pill to Chu Yun. Thank you, senpai. After taking the bottle, Chu Yun was very satisfied. This purple blood pill was a gift for his wife? Then, in the shocked eyes of the audience, Chu Yun jumped off the ring, went out of the martial arts room with Li Feng. When you come, be the last to come, and when you leave, be the first to go. Leaving a mess all over the ground and the shock of everyone? Fiercely defeated. Completely defeated. From the moment his fists collided with Chu Yun, he knew he was defeated. The opponent's punching power is too strong, it is no longer comparable to him. As expected, when his arm collided with the opponent's fist, Meng Feng's arm began to crack. From the collision point, it kept jumping to the shoulder before it stopped. This is the result of Chu Yun's final effort. If Chu Yun used all his strength to activate the shaking fruit, Meng Feng might be crushed directly. Meng Feng was defeated, and his body was still stuck in the ring at this time. On the other hand, Chu Yun's clothes were not torn, so he took the purple blood pill from Li Ru and left the martial arts room. The people who remained were unable to return to their senses for a long time. Shen Xiong clenched his fist, his eyes became more and more firm. He turned around and followed Chu Yun out of the martial arts room. Then came Lan Yi. At this time, her red lips were slightly opened, and she left cutely. After that, the freshmen of this class left silently. There was no shocking sound in the martial arts field. They all left silently. Chu Yun was the ceiling of their current session. It is the goal they are pursuing, and they are going to practice hard. Hope to be able to walk side by side with this man one day. Most of the people left, leaving behind Chen Ji and the thin man, and their bodies still stuck in the ring. Chen Ji was a little silent, but he could see the strength that Chu Yun finally burst out. It has almost reached the explosive power of 70,000. He was almost about to break through the late bronze stage, and he was only 10,000 points away from him in combat power. Chen Ji suddenly felt that he might not be Chu Yun's opponent. Chu Yun glanced at him because of the last punch. That look made him shudder at the peak of his bronze existence. Gudong. The thin man swallowed hard, his voice trembling. Old boss, why is he so powerful? Chen Ji shook his head. I don't know, maybe it's because my talent is too strong, I'm not as good as him. As soon as Chen Ji said this, it showed that he would not rob Qin Luyan from Chu Yun in the future. He didn't deserve to fight with Chu Yun either. Chu Yun is only in the late stage of the black iron, and he will be able to smash the big and wide. If he breaks through to the peak of the black iron, might be able to blow himself up. The thin man inhaled. Then what do we do now? Send Xiaofang to the hospital first. Although he lost an arm, his life will not be in danger. This time I'm sorry to Xiaofang. I will try my best to make up for him in the future. Chen Ji is also a very affectionate person. He doesn't know any conspiracies. He likes to go straight. Otherwise it would be a fierce challenge to Chu Yun this time. But do it in secret. Shaking his head, looking at Meng Feng on the stage, Chen Ji sighed a little. Boss, it's not entirely your responsibility, mainly because I didn't expect Chu Yun to be so strong. It's okay, our three brothers will make great achievements in the future. The thin man, seeing Chen Ji a little depressed, immediately comforted him. Chen Ji smiled reluctantly and patted him on the shoulder. Okay, our three brothers will make another great achievement. Having said that, he has already stepped onto the ring, and carefully lifted Meng Feng up. Looking at it, Chen Ji breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, only one arm is abolished, and the others are no big problem. The thin man, who took Meng Feng cautiously, was relieved. The two carried Meng Feng to the hospital. They didn't blame Chu Yun for being too ruthless. Everyone could tell that Chu Yun kept his hand. The other side. Chu Yun rubbed the small porcelain bottle in his hand and walked to the logistics department with Li Feng. After a brief shock, Li Feng pretended to be calm. You kid still has a lot in mind. You didn't completely destroy Meng Fang. I thought you were going to kill me? I didn't expect it. At that time, you actually pulled back. Li Feng is also full of emotion. Ha ha. Chu Yun laughed loudly. It's nothing, those people are not bad people. Since he is willing to challenge me head-on, it shows that his conscience is not too bad, and there is no need to kill him completely. This kills the opponent, doesn't it seem that I am too ruthless? Li Feng glanced at Chu Yun in surprise again, and sighed a little. Not only is the strength strong, but the overall situation is also strong? You're right, don't be too cruel to fellow human beings. Unless you encounter those targets that will kill you, if you encounter such people, don't be merciful. Got it. The two talked and chatted, and many students passed by along the way. They all nodded respectfully to the two of them. Suddenly Li Feng remembered something and asked Chu Yun. By the way, you created the body technique your kid used today? This is a physique that I have never seen before. It looks very delicate and suits you very well. I didn't create it. Chu Yun heard Li Feng's question, thought about it, and said, I also don't have the strength and qualifications to create such exquisite physical skills. Then where did you learn it? Our magic capital Transcendent University does not have this set of physical skills. Hearing Chu Yun's answer, Li Feng was not surprised and asked immediately, where did you learn it? Chu Yun's thoughts drifted away, and he answered truthfully, it should be learned from my hometown. Your hometown, Zhongcheng? Could there be such an expert in Zhongcheng? Hearing Chu Yun's words, Li Feng immediately thought of Zhongcheng. Ahaha. Chu Yun laughed and said vaguely, it's not that, it's a very far place. I was an orphan since I was a child, and Zhongcheng was the place I went to. Later? Li Feng glanced at Chu Yun strangely, nodded, and didn't ask any more.